Hey everybody, it's your boy Pee back with another video. Today I'm going to do my honest review of Teenage Mercenary, Mercenary Enrollment. Basically wherever you read, there's a different name for it. But the most common one is Mercenary Enrollment. The reason I wanted to talk about this is because it's one of those comics where I feel suffers from like the longevity curse. And what I mean by the longevity curse is if you read a lot of manhwa like me, you have you run into the situation where a comic has like a really good season one, and then when they come out with season two, it feels like they just don't know what they were doing. It's like a complete 180 in terms of like quality, where it's like not like the art or like like the characters and whatnot do like a 180, but where it kind of feels as like the story itself has like lost its plot, and it feels this comic in itself kind of just feels like for the first like 100 chapters, like it is a really good comic. The art is really good. You know like the plot is interesting, it's intriguing. You have this uh our main character here, who at the age of 8 was basically in a plane crash along with his parents. His parents died, and he basically was stranded in this like foreign land where he became a mercenary. He became a part of this like organization of quote unquote kind of like assassins slash like secret agents type thing. And then after like a decade or so, almost a decade, he basically rescues like this group of like army soldiers while he's on a mercenary mission, and they bring him back to Korea, which then he reunites with his family, starts to go to like high school and try to get into the normal groove of a normal high school life after experiencing this grueling uh, past of his, right? And this comic basically starts out as like this back and forth of like him and his school life and his new life, trying to get reacquainted with his family, spend more time with them. And there are a lot of like heartwarming moments between him and his family as they like find out more about each other and more about his past. But then there's also the mix of his past coming back to haunt him at times, where it's like this first half of the story, I like to split it up in halves, right? It's like the first half of the story where it's like the mix of his school life and his past, where it's like there's a more centered focus around the whole new life, school life, and his friends type stuff. And then after a certain point, it gets to where like people from his past, it becomes this loop of like a person from his past shows up. This comment basically sums it up. um let's see. Yeah, it says that it just keeps adding people to recycle, like from his past, right? Like they'll show up, like something happens with that person. Ejin has to basically save them, or help them out of whatever predicament they're in. And then once he is done helping that person, or solving the whatever problem or scenario that came with the appearance of this person, once all that is settled, they bring in like a new person from his past life, and it's like a cycle of like rinse and repeat of like person shows up from his past, situation occurs with said person, Ejin has to basically solve it and work through it, and then once he's done, uh rinse and repeat, another person shows up, he has to solve the problem. And it's just, I feel like when the comic was more centered around like his actual like high school life, and first introducing us to his past and the people of his past, like it was really good. When there was a lot of like his high school like friends, and just like when it was more centered around his high school stuff, and the more it got centered around his past as the later chapters come out, it kind of just feels like a whole, like I said, a rinse and repeat thing, where it's like it got extremely repetitive in this like loop of like people from his past. We lost kind of like the charm, which was like the balance of like high school and his past, because it towards like the later end of the chapters, it's like it just becomes a lot, you don't get a lot of like the high school stuff anymore. And it's like I don't know. I feel like the whole charm of this was the whole high school part with some of his past and like when it first started getting introduced to us, but as it became more about his past rather than his present, it kind of just like became this like basically all you can say is just like this repetitive loop. And I'm not saying that it's bad or anything. I'm not saying that the comic itself, that you shouldn't read it because it gets repetitive. This comic is one of um I would say probably top 10 comics in my that I have read. Like it is a really good comic even with the repetitive loop. I mean, the fight scenes are still really cool. The art's still really good. Um and I genuinely think you should give it a shot. You should read it if you haven't. It is a really good comic with a lot of heartfelt moments in it. I will just say that, I just feel like this comic suffers from that longevity curse of where it probably should have ended. Like right now, like there's like it's on like chapter 280 and it's on like a current hiatus. But I feel like this chapter could have ended with like 200 chapters and everything. It would have been a lot better than it is in the state that it is in now. That doesn't mean to say that they can't like come back from this hiatus and like do another complete 180 and make it a really good comic again. But I will say it honestly, I kind of wish that it only had like 200 chapters and they would have gave it an ending already because as I said, the repetitive loop that to get us to 280 kind of just sometimes it's just feels a little unbearable where it's just like you feel like you're reading the same thing, like there doesn't seem to be a point, like stuff's happening just for the sake of it to happen, right? Like I don't know, I kind of just I feel like it just would have been better if they would have given it an ending 80 chapters ago and like an actual ending rather than just try to keep stretching it out and doing what they're doing now. But overall, I do want to say it is a really good comic, really good art, really good fight scenes. The character interactions are amazing. You should definitely check it out if you haven't already. If you guys disagree with my opinions, feel free to let me know down below. I would love to discuss. I would love to, have someone try to change my mind. And but that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. Was give my like honest review about this because I've seen a lot of mixed feelings about this comic. In terms of the state that it's in currently. Like, if you ask anybody, they'll tell you this comic is really good at the start, but it's kind of like a split where it's like the state of it's in now, where it's like it's repetitive. It's like like nothing comes as a surprise type thing. So I don't know. But then there's still those diehard people that are like, it's still really good. Nothing you know nothing can basically turn this into a bad comic, and they're right. The comic is still going to be good overall regardless of how they continue it, but I just feel like maybe it should have ended already. But uh, I know the author works hard, the artist works hard, but at the end of the day, I kind of wish it had like a good official ending, and this repetitive loop just wasn't happening. But that'll be it for this video. If you guys liked, leave a like, leave a sub. To continue seeing more of you in the future, building this channel, growing this channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.